Hello there, people. Ryan, my man, a slight correction.
Sorry.
I'm still a domestic worker. Now, they've given me limited time. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. They've given me limited time, and if I had more time, what I would like to say is, I am completely bowled over by these young people that have put this organization together and turned around and put on this event. I have been to places as far as India, Africa, and I can tell you this, there's no conference that I have been to that was not staffed by full-time staff. And this was completely done by volunteers. So, no, that's right, you're taking away from my time, I've got limited time. So I want to say that. And also another thing I want to say is, now you guys might see this shirt and you might think that I'm a Native American. I don't want to confuse you. I'm a Native African. But I have to tell you this, there is such a great similarity between what they did here and what they did in Africa. And just like you guys are fighting for your land, I was in Africa, and by the way, this isn't what I wanted to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I was in Africa in December, along with my friend over there, and went to a place called the Tabletop Mountain, and this is in Cape Town. Back in the days of apartheid, what they did, they moved the blacks from under this mountain and put them in the first township. This was in 1948. And that land is now very rich. The affluent want the land. It's very expensive, and you've got the blacks fighting to get back there. Now, whether it's a coincidence or not, I don't know. But apparently, the Muslims was the other side of the mountains, and they refused to move. So the Muslims are still there, but the blacks, they moved. But now I'm going to say what I wanted to say. I'm going to tell you guys a story, but it's just a story. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, before any of us was born, there was a country so big, it became a continent. This country was rich in soil. Let me take this thing off. That's better. I just got to find where I was. Hang on. And my minutes are ticking away. This country was rich in soil, but better still, it was rich in people. Or as they were called in those days, savages. Big and black, they were not considered human. After all, they looked nothing like their captors. They were taken to the US. The boys and the men, oh, she's taking away my stand. Oh, he's taking away my stand. Okay. The boys and men were put in the field, and they're now called farm workers. The girls and the women were forced to work in the house. You know them better as domestic workers. They worked from the morning till night. They ate and slept with the dogs. Back in those days, the North and South was battling Congress for control. Southern states had more people, and they felt they should have control. The North argued, yes, the South have more people, but they're black, they're slaves. And everyone knows a slave is not the equal of a white man. So they decided one slave will be equal to 2/5 of a white man. And his vote would go to his owner because the blacks wouldn't know how to vote. Congress called this the Electoral College vote. The party with the most votes in that state wins the state. And that system continues to this day. This is in the US. In the 1930s, during the labor movement, when jobs were given the legal right to unionize, Congress wrote, except for domestic workers and farm workers. That exclusion survived to this day. Now I'm going to forward you to today. Slaves eating and sleeping with the dogs. Some workers have to wait until after the family have eaten before they can eat the leftovers. While the dogs, and this is true, have meals specially prepared for them. This happens all the time, especially in Manhattan. Working from the sun up until sundown one of our members, we had a case a couple of years ago, and this woman came to us from Africa, funny enough. And she told us a story of working for another African gentleman. And she was sleeping on a thin blanket in the kitchen. She took care of his child, she took care of him, she took care of his father. And she worked 16 to 18 hours a day, and she was paid $300 a week, US. Now at that time, the minimum wage in the US was, it was like $5.15. One of the things that we also do in this organization, we take people to court. We take employees to court. And we have successfully, from the time this organization started in 1999 until today, we have successfully won in back wages over $400,000. No, it's actually wasting my minutes again. Now, slaves kept from their family. A couple of years ago, there was a woman, well, I shouldn't call her a woman, because at the time she was like 14, she was going into her 15th year. She was a Jamaican woman, and a Jamaican girl, and her parents, her mother knew a friend in the US, and it was arranged that this young lady would come to New York to work in New York. And the family she would work for, who were also Jamaicans, would send her to school. She would work for them, they would send her to school, and she would live with them. The night the girl arrived from Jamaica, she did stay in New York, but just for one night. The next day, they took her to Texas. And this girl, she took care of the parents, she took care of the kids, she took care of the house. She was not allowed to go out. She was not allowed to go to church. She was not allowed to go to church. Sorry, she was not allowed to go to school. The only time she was allowed out, she was accompanied by either the mother or the father. And this young girl, she wrote letters to her mother because she wanted to tell her mother about what was going on, how she was doing. And she never received any letters from her mother. So after a period of time, she started to think that her mother was either dead or the mother didn't care about her. This girl was in prison for 15 years. So when she got out of this situation, she was looking at 30 years old. So my whole point is that even today, and this only happened a couple of years ago, even today, people are still being kept from their families.